Good morning all, and welcome back to the Kieran Club and Racing Show. This is the preview for Friday's racing at Cheltenham. We've just had the decks in, so I will go and now have a chance to go through I've gone through the cards previously, and I now have my thoughts on each race and a potential selection for each race as we go along. Plenty of content has been out there. Thanks to all those that have watched the content that's been out there. The midweek outlook has gone down really well. Looking around 40-50 views each video. I know that's fairly small, but I'm still quite happy with that. Plenty of contribution there. I hope you're all enjoying the videos. But yeah, back to Cheltenham. We'll go through as per usual, race by race, and I will give you my selection or selections that I fancy for the race, and hopefully we can go down from there. Start off with the 110, the conditional jockey's handicap, over 2 mile 5 furlongs. Won last year by Double Powerful, who is entered in the novice chase later on the card. And the horse I like in here is Apan Denom of the Skeltons, second at Newton Abbot last time out behind Gentleman to Boot. Had to give that horse £7, and I think that was also Gentleman to Boot won really nicely, but the fact that Apan Denom had to give him £7, I think the Skeltons then knew what kind of horse they had, and they were looking for a handicap for this horse. It's come down on this one. He's not badly handicapped, and I think he should go close. Obviously won really nicely at Newton Abbot first time out, and we all know the Skeltons do well with these type of horses, especially when they go handicapping. And obviously their horses are in very fine form at the present juncture. Tristan Durrell on board in a conditional jockeys race. He's probably one of the better jockeys to have on. I'll be quite happy to see what price he is. No prices currently. They've tissued him up around 7-1, but I can see us getting. It'll probably be a bit short. It'll probably be 4 or 5-1. I would have thought, but we shall see come Friday morning whether he's worth a punt, each way punt. But he's definitely a player on handicap debut for the Skeltons. We then move on to the 145, the Veterans Chase over 2 mile 4 furlongs. And the horse I like in here is the favourite, currently priced up at 3-1, and that's Fugitive for Richard Hobson. Lovely, decent Cheltenham form, always seems to run his race. Had a few decent performances in the Paddy Power itself. Also, plenty of decent races over the 2.5 miles. Comes here now a 10-year-old, so gets into these veteran races, and it's always worth keeping the 10-year-olds on side, I feel, in these types of races. Obviously they've just come out of handicap company, maybe graded company, and they drop into veterans company, and obviously they go slightly slower and potentially could suit him a bit better. Obviously with his running style being held up, if they do go lickety split, it will probably suit him as well. But yeah, I think he's a decent play here, and currently best price 3-1. We'll see what price we get on Friday morning, whether he's worth a play or not. But I've certainly, with his Cheltenham record, I believe he should have a decent chance of winning this. We then move on to the 220, the Novice Chase. Only 5 runners that take part, unfortunately. But the one I like here is down the bottom, is Weighed Out for Ollie Murphy. A good winner up at Worcester, beating Wendigo. Now Wendigo is said to be a 3-miler. That was over 2.5, and it looked like Weighed Out actually outstayed Wendigo that day, under a very exuberant Sean Byrne ride as per usual. I think there is more to come. Ollie Murphy said after the race that 3 miles is going to be more his bag. Well, we'll soon find out, because this is now 3 mile 1. But Weighed Out travelled really well through the race, picked up for Sean, and I think looking at this race, there's a couple in here that you could potentially say aren't going to, like, you'd like to think that Isaac DeZobo is going to need the run. There's a couple of others in here that potentially you could sway away from. So Weighed Out looks a decent option down the bottom there, and he could look a decent price at currently 5-2. I think he's going to probably go off a lot slightly shorter than that come the day. But we shall see what price he is Friday morning. But the way the vibes from the Ollie Murphy stable after he won at Worcester was very strong, and the fact that he's beaten Wendigo, who is obviously well regarded from the Jamie Snowden stable, decent performer last season over hurdles, bids a lot that weighed out could be potentially decent over fences this season. And then we move on to the 255, the big race of the day, the Slur Chase, where John Bond is favourite at 8-13. Now, I couldn't be backing him at 8-13. I'd be taking him on all day long at Cheltenham, especially fresh. He should be winning this. If he's got any aspirations of winning a champion chase, he should be winning this hard held. But that's never been the case with John Bond. He always seems to find a way, or he struggles in races like this, or just gets over the line. He never seems to win convincingly at Cheltenham when he does win there. Obviously, he's been beaten in the past here as well in races that aren't that good. I can remember the Tizard horse that beat him a couple of years ago when James Bowen rode John Bond and everybody gave the excuses of the jump that he had 3 out where he nearly James Bowen somehow managed to sit on him, and they finished when he finished second. I just think he needs to step up in trip. I think 2 mile 5 furlongs would be certainly better. 2 mile 4, 2 mile 5 will certainly be better for John Bond, but they seem to be sticking to the 2 mile route. The fact that JP has never won the champion chase, maybe they think that either all roads lead back to there, but I'd be taking him on at 8-13. The horse I'm going to take him on with is Liberty Hunter of Evan Williams's. Goes well, really fresh here. Won here in December, was then second at Newbury behind Master Chewy, which was Master Chewy was given a brilliant ride that day by Sam Twiston Davis to beat Liberty Hunter, and then fell unfortunately in the champion chase. Comes back here. I just think if he jumps around, obviously Harry Cobden on board, gets on with him really well. He was on when he won it in December. I just think if he jumps around nicely, they're going to go a strong gallop. I'm sure they always do in a race like this. And he might just pick up the pieces if John Bond does happen to make a mistake and Liberty Hunter gets a clear round. I think he could potentially be one to pick up the piece. I know Lure de Sug's in here as well for the Skeltons, but I think he's one that's between a rock and a hard place. I'm not quite sure he's up to champion chase level. I know probably wouldn't have to be to win this race, but I'd be willing to take more of a chance with Liberty Hunter. Could be better than Lure de Sud if I'm honest. He's obviously got the form of, I know he fell in the champion chase, but at least he's running it. He's got that level of form. So yeah, I'd be willing to take a chance on Evan Williams' charge at 5-1. If Matata runs here, you know they're going to go hell of a speed, which will test John Bond's jumping out, and obviously will test Liberty Hunter as well. Obviously falling last time, but I'll be willing to take a chance on him at 5-1. We then move on to the 3:30, the Novices Hurdle of a 2 mile 5. 2 I like in here. Great Fleet is the first one for the Skeltons. Third at Kelso behind Conman John. Second at Cheltenham behind Conman John over 3 miles. Drops back to 2 mile 5. No Conman John in this race. So could be a chance for Great Fleet to get his head in front. Looked what was going to be my selection on paper until I looked further down and saw that Henry de Bromhead is sending over King Bucks. Now this horse is very intriguing to me. Got a very decent profile. He's a point-to-point winner. Was second in that Gorham Bumper that's over 2 mile 2, I believe it is. That normally produces plenty of decent horses. Obviously, the most regarded race of that was when Bob Ollinger ran in it, and I think there's a couple of others of Henrys that have run in decent races in that race as well. Willie seems to target that race as well for some of his decent bumper horses also. And then he was 4th on Hurdle's debut over 2 miles behind Each to Their Own. I just think a step up in trip to this 2 mile 5 furlong distance is going to surely suit. And the fact that they're sending him here on second Hurdle's debut, they must think a lot of him. Plenty of scope for improvement, like I said, for the trip being a 3 mile point-to-point winner. I just love everything about the profile, and he's definitely worth an each way swing. Currently best price 10-1, but we shall see what price he is on Friday morning. And then the last race, the 4 o'clock, the handicap hurdle. The one I like in here is Frontier Prince, the Fergal O'Brien horse. Winner at Chepstow last time, first time up this season. Second run over hurdles. Not sure how good the form is currently. I know Farsol's come out and won since at odds on. He was 5th in the race that day, but that race he won at the weekend was fairly bad, so fairly dire, to be honest. So not quite sure how strong the form is behind Frontier Prince currently, but he comes here on handicap debut. Obviously, Fergal O'Brien loves the winner at Cheltenham, and I think he's got plenty of scope for improvement on handicap debut. And they're going to go lickety split, as they do in these 2 mile races. And he'll be buried away by Johnny Burke and hopefully come with a late rattle to have go close here. So that is the podcast for Friday, gone through it. Best bets wise, probably 2 currently, but we shall see come Friday morning, is Fugitive, definitely in the Veterans Chase. I think he's got a great chance with his Cheltenham record. And the other one is Weighed Out for Ollie Murphy and that novice chase. I just loved the way he went through the line, and I think, like the trainer said, that 3 miles is certain to suit. Sean Bowen in the saddle, always a plus. I think he's got a hell of a chance as well. So they'd be my 2 horses currently that will be I'm advising currently, and then but most of my selections, as per usual, will be out Friday morning. That is all, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will be back tomorrow previewing Saturday's card, including the Paddy Power Chase and plenty of all the other events in tow. But I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and all have a good day, and happy punting to you all.